Hi there, and welcome to our autumn comfort Thermomix food class this evening. We've got an action-packed class for you, 7 to 8 o'clock. We hope to do, I think we've got about 7 dishes lined up, so we're going to be flying through and giving you lots and lots of ideas about how you can use your Thermomix in this gorgeous season of, kind of the nights are drawing in, it's getting a little bit cooler, we're thinking about apples and pumpkins. I've got lots and lots of spices, so yes, there's going to be some spicy dishes coming through, and we're also going to be highlighting a number of the functions of your Thermomix. So we're going to be talking about high temperature cooking, we're going to be talking about slow cooking, sous vide, steaming, and also I'm going to be doing a soup in the Friend. So for anybody that has purchased a Friend, just to give you some ideas on how to use that as well. So without further ado, I'm going to, just to introduce myself as well. So my name is Michelle. I'm an independent team leader and advisor in Jersey in the Channel Islands. And my Facebook page is called Michelle's Family Kitchen. I'm on Instagram under that name as well. So I will pass you over now to Laura. She'll introduce herself to you, and she's going to be doing an absolutely gorgeous dish using pumpkin.
Hi guys, lovely to see so many of you, or sort of see so many of you. I'm Laura from Love to Mix with Laura on Facebook. I'm Michelle's lovely team in Jersey. I'm a teaching assistant by day, Thermomix advisor by night, and I have done the proper school thing. Everything that I'm going to make tonight is going to be Blue Peter style. So I have, just before we all got on here, I have prepared the batter for this really beautiful pumpkin and golden syrup steamed pudding, which is going to steam in the varoma of the other Thermomix I've got further back in the kitchen. And I'm actually going to put it on straight away because it takes 50 minutes to steam in the varoma. So just very quickly before I put it on, and then I'll talk you through what's in it. It is in a little dish like this. It's quite a liquid batter. I have rested it inside my varoma dish on just a couple of wooden skewers there. It just helps to lift the dish off the bottom so that the steam can properly circulate around the whole of whatever it is you're cooking inside of your varoma. So it's really important that when you use your varoma, those tips and instructions that are on your Thermomix that say about having equal space between things and lifting it up, they're really important, that everything cooks nice and evenly. I'm then going to tuck this in with a little blanket on top with some greaseproof and a foil lid, and tuck it around, and then I'm going to pop it in my Thermomix on the varoma setting for 50 minutes. I'm just going to go and switch that on right now. Right, it's on, it's going in the background. So this is a pumpkin and golden syrup steamed pudding. It has used only 300 grams of raw pumpkin. Here's my little pumpkin, my other half cut up for me actually, because it was a bit tricky. They're just a couple of pounds from the supermarket, so I've used a quarter of it. It's a really, really amazing ingredient to use this time of year. It can be sweet, it can be savoury. It's really filling. You can use it sort of in place of meat. It's amazing, and it's very cheap. It has pumpkin, flour, golden syrup, a little bit of mixed spice, bicarb, and 3 eggs, and that is it. The golden syrup I made my own in my Thermomix last night. So this, I don't know if you can see this, it's quite dark, lovely consistency. A couple of ingredients: sugar, water, and a slice of lemon. When it's cooked, when it finishes, it's completely liquid, and you think, oh, it's wrong. It's not. It's liquid. Pop the lid on, and as it cools, it thickens, and it's delicious. It's not quite as sickly sweet as the golden syrup you buy in the shop. It's got sort of a slightly different sort of quality to it. That's almost somewhere between golden syrup and treacle, I suppose, somewhere in the middle. So that was my little extra that I did. So My pudding is steaming away there in the background, and I've got something else sizzling away next to me. But I'm going to go over back to Michelle now, who's going to start her first Blue Peter moment.
Thanks, Laura. I love watching you bake, actually. You always have such amazing tips. So Laura's actually in the Women's Institute. Is it called the Country Women's Institute?
No, just the Women's Institute.
Women's Institute, yeah, here in Jersey. So she's she's incredibly creative and crafty, and always has brilliant tips around, you know, canning and preserving and baking and stuff. So I always learn something from her. So thank you, Laura. Okay, so I am going to go into the first dish that I'm going to cook this evening, which is a spiced Moroccan lentil soup. So lots of lovely warming spices in there, really simple to make, really cheap to make as well, and it's reasonably quick as well. So if I just go into my week, I have programmed that in there, and it's called spiced Moroccan lentil soup. And I think, Nice, can you add the links for these? I can't remember if you've got them.
I've done them. I've added them onto the chat if everyone wants to have a look.
Thanks, Nice. Okay, so I'm going to start off my Moroccan soup. So I've got some onion going in here. So there's 180 grams of onion, or just one onion basically. I'm going to put my lid on, my measuring cup in place, give it a little chop. No, sorry, I just need to give my spatula a little wipe down. Okay, so I'll give that a little wipe. And that's it. That's my onion chopped in there. Could you please put into the chat box if you don't have a Thermomix? Just so that, because these classes that we put on, we do them for our customers, actually. So to make sure that you're getting the most out of your Thermomix, that it's a big purchase, it's a big investment, and we want to make sure that you are getting the most out of it. So that's the reason that we put these classes on. But we did say if anybody wants to bring a friend, they were welcome to. So if you don't have a Thermomix, or if you have an older Thermomix, pop a note in the chat room, just so that we know to adapt the class ever so slightly, and maybe explain things as we're going on. But basically, I put the onion in, it chops in seconds, scraping it down, and then I'm going to put in a little bit of olive oil. Now, this recipe says 40 grams of olive oil. You don't have to put that much if you don't want to. So I know that some people follow a lower fat diet, or just don't want to have that amount of oil. So feel free to put less than that. You can even put a bit of water in as well, just to keep everything moving. And I'm just going to take that off and just put my simmering basket on top. So one of the new safety features is that if it goes over 100 degrees when you're cooking, that it wants you to use the steaming basket instead of the measuring cup. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that on to saute, and then I'm going to go in with my spices. So what I'm going to do with this soup, so I'm going to do the powerful stuff that I need to do using my Thermomix. So that's going to be, predominantly like the chopping. So I'm going to get it all prepared in my Thermomix, and then I'm going to switch it across to my Thermomix Friend, because when I've done these first couple of steps, the next part of it is just going to be simmering. And the Thermomix Friend, if you haven't seen it before, I call it a docking station, because it's kind of somewhere to put your bowl and to just continue on doing whatever you've been doing in your Thermomix. So this is going to free up my Thermomix so that I can do other more exciting things in my Thermomix. But basically, when it gets to that point, I'm going to pop my bowl across. I'm going to set up the amount of time that it needs to simmer for, and then it's going to continue cooking in there. Now, the Thermomix Friend only cooks to a maximum of speed 2 and in reverse, and that's because, well, you can see it's not locked in. You can just pick that up at any stage. You can pick the lid up at any stage, so it's very sensitive. So so if anything was to ever if a hand went in, it stops immediately. It's really, really safe. On that note, if you've got a Thermomix Friend and you've been using it, You might notice that it sticks sometimes if you've got something really, really chunky in there, and that's because of that safety mechanism. So if you're wanting to simmer something that's really chunky, my advice is to grab your blade cover. So either just the normal plastic, the silicone blade cover, or that new blade cover peeler, whichever one you've got. Pop it onto the blades, and then put your chunky whatever it is. You know, so if you're doing butternut squash and coconut soup, for example, definitely I would put the blade cover in there, and that just means nothing's going to stick in those blades, and it's not going to think that there's a hand coming in that it needs to protect. So yeah, so that's a little tip. In terms of recipes for the Friend, there is actually there's collections on Cookie Dough that are specifically for the Friend, and it will actually send the instructions across. So it will talk to us via Bluetooth. It'll set up the time, it'll set up the temperature, and all you need to do is operate the speed of the blade. So it's in the same sequence as it is on your Thermomix. If you're doing it manually, you use your selector button. You just press it in to get from one function to the next. So I'm going to set it up for, I can't remember how much it is now. I'm going to look at it in a second. Probably, I think it's about 15 or 20 minutes. So you use your selector to put the time in, press it again to do the temperature. Same thing, you just twist the selector button to get the temperature you want. And then put your lid on, and then you press go. Maximum speed 2 and in reverse. Okay, so let's go back to our Moroccan soup. So our onions have sauteed. And are smelling wonderful. Now, here's where all my spices go in. So we've got a teaspoon of ground ginger, a teaspoon of ground coriander, a teaspoon of ground cumin, paprika, sweet paprika. There's a half teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, turmeric, chili powder, quarter teaspoon of nutmeg. So, and obviously you don't need to remember any of that because it's all on Cookie Dough and it will guide you through it. I measured it all out beforehand just to speed up the process. And that's it. Lid going back on. Go, and it's just going to saute those spices along with the onions just to get that flavor going in there. So that's going to release all those beautiful flavors. So yeah, that paprika and cumin and cinnamon, you know, really gorgeous Moroccan flavors coming through. And I'm just going to press the preview button, which is up in the top right-hand corner. If you're new to TM6, that's quite a nice addition, so you can see what's coming up next. And I'm going to get ready my my water. So yeah, so you can flick through the preview buttons so that you can see what's coming up. So I really like that. I'm going to get my stock paste, which is still in my fridge. I know I always say this for anybody that's been following me for a while, but if you haven't made the stock paste, well, either the vegetable or the chicken one, it's well worth making. It takes about 20-25 minutes. There's a great recipe you can follow. You can also kind of add whatever you've got, but it keeps for about 6 months in your fridge. It's a really, really nice basic to have. Okay, so I'm just going to take my lid, put it to one side. So I'm just measuring in 3/4 of a litre of water. And so I did kind of measure this out beforehand, but obviously it's measuring it for me as I'm putting it in as well. So liquids and solids all get measured in grams, unless you're following an American recipe, in which case it's imperial, so you'll have ounces. And then I've got my stock paste going in. I've got 2 tablespoons of my stock paste. Nearly at the end of that, so I'm going to have to make some more soon. So yeah, it keeps for about 6 months because there's a very high salt content. But of course, yeah, by the time you add your liquid and everything, it's only a small amount of salt actually in comparison to your dish. Right, so I've got 100 grams of lentils going in now. Oh, I did measure that exactly. Clever me. Okay, and then I've got 800 grams of canned crushed tomatoes. I tend to buy the whole plum tomatoes, so I actually just gave these a bit of a chop beforehand, but they're going in there. So 2 cans, that's why they're in the jug. There we go. 2 cans of tomatoes going in there. And that is it. So basically, I'm putting the lid on, putting my simmering basket in there, and now it's going to simmer. So it's going to simmer for 20 minutes at 100 degrees, speed 1 in reverse. This isn't a recipe that goes automatically to the Friend, so I'm going to set that up. So I'm going to go to my time. I'm going to set up 20 minutes. Press the button again to get to temperature at 100. Press the button again. And then I'm just going to pop my jug onto there, which is really heavy. And I've set it on to speed 1, reverse. And I'm not sure if you can hear that. It's very, very quiet, but it's doing its thing, basically. Stirring in reverse. It's going to cook for 20 minutes. I'm actually going to pop it out of my way so that I don't bump it. But yeah, was just really keen to show you how you might use your Friend. And now my Thermomix is free so that I can carry on cooking. So Laura, shall I pop back to you? And then when you come back to me, I'm going to show you my teriyaki chicken.
Hi guys, back again. Sorry, as this is going on, I'm just preparing dinner for my family at the same time. So I'm just going to move the potatoes out of the way. So the other thing that I am going to make tonight is showing another one of the special functions that the Thermomix has, which is the slow cook function. I'm going to be making some smoky pork and beans. It's like a casserole stew. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's pork, beans with a smoky paprika tomatoey sauce. I actually made this last night, bar the last step. And I'm going to remake it now and then swap over and finish it off for our dinner tonight. So as Michelle has been talking, I have been browning off the pork. So I'm just going to lift it up to the camera so you can see just how well browned off the Thermomix gets your meat when you're using the high temp function as well. So there's another function that we're using too. So this recipe uses about 500 grams of pork shoulder. It has browned it in the Thermomix using, in 2 batches, 250 grams and 250 grams. And then I'm going to be using the high temp function again right now to do the few vegetables that go in it, which is onion and pepper. And I've got all these prepared. So it's just 80 grams of onions. There we go. Cut into roughly the same size chunks so that when it blitzes them, they're all the same. 120 grams of green pepper. I have red pepper. It doesn't make any difference. It's totally your preference. Again, when you are cooking a recipe that's going to chop things up smaller, try and put things in the same size chunks because it will get a nice even chop. You won't end up with some big chunky bits and some really fine, almost squishy bits. So there's pepper in. It's going to ask for 2 cloves of garlic. Here's the jar I prepared earlier. A little bit of vegetable oil. So you could use olive oil at this stage, but olive oil doesn't get up to as high temperature as vegetable oil does, or other fats that you can use. So I prefer to cook with, personally I cook with olive oil mostly, but for the high temp function, if it's asking for vegetable oil or something specific, do try and use it because it really helps to get all that heat going and get a nice brown colour. So your Thermomix will then ask you to make sure that everything inside your mixing bowl is evenly distributed around the bowls. This is because the blades move slowly and they stop and they start, and you want everything to be evenly touching the bottom of the bowl to get nice and browned. If it's all piled up towards one side, you will end up with some potentially almost raw bits right at the top and some bits stuck at the bottom, and you don't want that. So that's going to go on with the lid on. It gives me my little warning sign to say splash guard on. This little splash guard here with its little arms that get clipped in with the lid so that it can't come off. And that's going to cook on high temp for 6 minutes. So that's the third step. So it's meat, vegetables. My meat's done, my veggies are in. I just want to talk about the meat that I've used whilst that's going and see if I can talk for 5 minutes, which I'm sure I can. I bought a pork shoulder joint from Waitrose, and it was £8.92, so £9, and it was 1.5 kilos. I do try and use the best quality meat I can, but this was a Waitrose essential joint, and I purposely bought it because it's enough to make this recipe 3 times over, which is incredible value. So that's £3 just for the meat, and the casserole, the stew, once it's finished, with all the pork and the beans in it, will probably feed 4 to 6 people, depending on what other sides and things you do with it. So if you're feeding a family or lots of people, if you're on a budget, this is one of those recipes that will really tick all the boxes. Nice and cheap, easy to find. You can always add in extra things. Like I've already thought I could have thrown in some chorizo out of the fridge, or maybe there's a few rashers of bacon lying around. If you want to put a few extra veggies in there, feel free. Remember, any vegetables that you put in, nothing too soft, like courgette or aubergine or anything, because it's going to slow cook for 2 hours once we've added all of the liquid and the tomatoes in a minute. So yeah, so that's the next thing. What was I just, what else I was going to do? Michelle, I think, no, actually, I'm going to talk through the rest of it before I pass over. So there's still 4 minutes left of this high temp, but I'm going to press the preview button just as Michelle did. And there are not many other ingredients to add before we head to the slow cooking function. So once this is finished, the vegetables, you add in smoked paprika, chili powder of your choosing. So hot, I'm using Kashmiri because it's a little bit milder and sweeter, and I'm using a bit less than Autumnal because it's quite spicy. Some tomato puree, and then that just cooks for 3 more minutes, sautés away. Then you add in the meat, chopped tomatoes, water, you season it to your taste, and then you place the simmering basket on top. It has 3 minutes on high temp, and then you, as part of the recipe, it is a slow cook for 2 hours from the slow cook function, which is just at 95 degrees, so it ticks over really, really nicely. 2 hours. Perfect for making the night before. Like I said, I made this last night. I then put it in the fridge. Here it is. So it's gone in one of my lovely Thermomix bowls here in the fridge. The whole house smelled amazing, and I am going to pop this in afterwards and add the beans and cook the rest of it for you guys to see at the end. So Michelle, if you're ready, I can go back over to you now.
Thanks, Laura. Okay, so I've got my Moroccan soup now cooking beautifully on the Friend. Now, just to let you know, we do have a special offer this month to, if anybody is in the market or knows anybody that's in the market to buy the TM6. This month you can get the Friend and the second bowl for just £165. So it's an incredible deal, actually. It's basically not much more than the cost of a bowl. So that's here in Jersey in the Channel Islands or Guernsey. If you are in the UK, it's £199. So it's it's an amazing value add-on if anybody's thinking about buying a TM6, or if you've got a friend maybe that wants a TM6 and you'd love the Friend, maybe you can kind of club together. We've also got the Go Green Feel Better, I got that right, book, which is lovely. It's a book all about sustainability, cooking seasonally and using local produce. Really gorgeous book, beautifully produced. And there's some beeswax wraps and some reusable cloth bags that you can use for your produce. So everybody will get that regardless of whether you're just getting the TM6 or you're getting the TM6 plus the Friend bundle. So if you have any questions about any of that, please ask one of us or ask your advisor and we can tell you more. I also noticed there was a question about the blade cover peeler. You can purchase that on our website. It's £32, a little bit less in the Channel Islands without the VAT. Or you can have, if you have a couple of people around to your house for your welcome visit or just a little demonstration, we'll bring you one for free. So it's a really nice gift that we can give you as a host gift if you would like to host couple of friends for a cup of tea or a glass of wine and to have a look at your Thermomix. So again, have a chat with one of us. We'd be delighted to do that for you, or to your advisor if you've already got one. Okay, so moving swiftly onwards, we have, I'm going to do the sous vide teriyaki chicken thighs. So I wanted to do this one because the flavors are absolutely incredible. You know, the smell that it emits through your house as it, you know, as you're doing the sauce and you're frying up the chicken at the end is incredible. And sous vide is something that your Thermomix TM6 is equipped to do. And some people never get round to it because they think it's complicated, and it's really not. So all you need is a Ziploc bag. I've got a special one here, which I'll tell you about in a minute. You need a Ziploc bag that you can put your whatever you're cooking inside. You dip it into, this is if you don't have a vacuumer, dip it into a bowl of water, force out that air, zip across the zip at the top, and your produce is ready to go. So your meat or your fish. You just need to create that vacuum basically in your bag. So before I got anything more technical, that's what I did. I used Bako foil. It's a good quality Ziploc bag. There's no BPA in it. And what you're doing is you're cooking something at quite a low temperature so that you're preserving all of the moisture, the nutrients in that fish or meat or vegetables or fruit. But you're cooking it very gently for an amount of time. And then depending on what it is, you might finish it at the end. So this one, I'm doing chicken thighs. It's bone in, skin on. And yeah, so what I did earlier on today, in my Blue Peter moment, is I created the marinade first of all. So I put soy sauce, honey, brown sugar, some rice wine vinegar, which I picked that up at Waitrose. Some, what else, where am I? Brown sugar, rice wine vinegar, grated ginger, chili, sake, or just I got the shaoxing rice wine. I'm really sorry for my pronunciation. What else? Yeah, that's it. And basically gave that a little mix around. So all of my dressing ingredients. So it's a homemade teriyaki sauce, and it's absolutely phenomenal. Definitely give it a go if you can. And then all I did is I got my my lovely chicken thighs. Don't want to tip it too much. So, but they're in there in that lovely liquid. And so what I do then is I get ready to sous vide. So let me just go to the next bit. You're about to start a new recipe. Yes, please. Okay, so on the TM6, it's going to give you a little video actually to show you how you put your blade cover in. So I've got my bowl, got my blade cover. If you don't have a blade cover and you're desperate to try this straight away, put your basket inside. So put your steaming basket inside and do them in there. You might need to do them in batches though. But yeah, that's a little tip if you don't have the blade cover. But the blade cover is going to stop the bags from touching the blades. And you can use the silicone one as well. That's absolutely fine. This silver stainless steel one just has some little perforations on it so that you can peel potatoes with it as well, which works really well. I love that function. Okay, so I'm putting my blade cover in place. Let me just put that down so I can put that properly. Looking it round. Hang on, there we go. Okay, so the blade cover just sits on top of the blades like so. And if you're doing it for the first time, you've got a little video here on the screen. I'm not sure if you can see that, but basically, yeah, it's got a little video just to show you what to do and which way to put it in, which is really nice. There's quite a few recipes like that that's got little video bits, especially in any of the pastry recipes, you know, to show you how to roll out. I love that it doesn't assume that you know anything, you know, so you can really, you know, any recipe, you can give it a crack. You know, if you've never cooked in your life, you can attempt pretty much anything. So once you've got your blade cover in there, we put 1,360 grams of water in there and some lemon juice, and that stops your blades from oxidizing. So if you don't do that, they can go a little bit black, which actually won't change the function of them terribly, but yeah, that'll just protect your blades. You're going to put your lid on there, and then you're going to bring it up to temperature. So it goes for about 8 minutes. It's going up to 70 degrees. It goes to speed 1, and that's bringing the temperature of your water to 70 degrees, which is going to be the sous vide temperature that we're going to use. And then after that, right, okay, so here we go, the sous vide part of it. So I've got my bag, and this is a special bag. But regardless of whether you're using your normal Ziploc bag, or if you're using one of the ones that goes with the vacuum sealer, so for anybody that's got one of those, they're fantastic. Right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my chicken thighs, and I'm going to put 2 in here because that's the instructions. And I'm going to try not to put too much of the liquid. I am going to use all that lovely liquid afterwards to make my sauce. But yeah, you don't want too much liquid because we basically want to create that lovely vacuum. Okay, there we go. In my chicken pieces go. Like so. But yeah, so as I said, if you were just using a baker foil bag, what you would do is leave that open, put it into a basin of water, and you'll see the air being forced out. And then just before the lip of it hits the water, you're going to do up your zip at the very top. And that works like that. And then...
Sorry, where did you get your bags from?
This particular bag is really special because so we got a little preview of these products that they're going to be releasing quite soon. So as a consultant, as an advisor for Thermomix, we often get to trial products before they're launched to the public. So this is something that we had available to earn last month, actually. So they're the special bags, and also have I got one nearby that I can show you? I've got one in the fridge. I think, hang on. Oh. So we got those beautiful bags, and we also got these lovely glass containers, and they've got like a round valve on the top. And what you do with that is you have one of these little vacuum pumps, and that just fits onto that valve, and you press a little button at the top and it sucks out all the air. I love it. So yeah, so obviously if you don't have, or I need to be on a flat surface, hang on. Yeah. If you don't have one of these, obviously you can just use the normal vacuum sealer, or you can use that method that I just told you about a minute ago. They are equally fine to use. Yeah, it's just going to take a couple of minutes. Laura, can I pass back to you for a minute, and I'm just going to get set up for my sauce stage.
Okay, so I've just got to a point where I've just assembled actually my smoky pork and beans. So in my bowl is now all of the ingredients, everything's in there. A tin of tomatoes, and then the tin filled with water again. Just to get a special guest appearance. And it is now going to have 3 minutes cooking on high, just to help get the temperature right up there before it goes on to slow cook. Now, Michelle's spoken about the blade cover peeler. This already using the slow cooker function. Some of the recipes require the blade cover peeler to be popped in the bottom there, resting on the blades. It helps all the liquid falls down, so it's still getting turned around and everything's getting cooked slowly, but it stops the meat getting really churned up and completely shredded. This one doesn't need it. The pork's quite chunky, and pork can really take quite a lot of cooking. Even the one that I did last night, which has already had 2 hours, it's plenty tender, but another hour would not have done anything bad to it, so it would be absolutely fine. So this is going to have its 3 minutes on high. My steamed pudding in the back there, I've still got 20 minutes on it, and as part of the recipe, which I won't get time to make on here, I'll have to make afterwards that everyone can have for dinner, there's a little sort of a caramel toffee sauce to make with it really quickly, using just butter and sugar and cream. Lots of recipes again on the Thermomix for making lovely treacle sponge puddings with the sauce. And and in the Varoma as well, which is, I would think, probably one of the least used sort of extra pieces that comes with your Thermomix. Your Varoma basket comes with your Thermomix when you purchase one. And I imagine there's probably some Thermomix owners on here right now whose Varoma basket's shoved on top of a cupboard or right at the back. Well, get it out. It's really, really amazing. You can use it for layered cooking. You can make yogurt in it, make steamed pudding, steamed vegetables, all sorts of stuff. It's a really, really excellent little tool. You can even just pop it on top when you're cooking something else to just steam your veggies that you want to have, saves you putting them on the hob or anything like that. So it's an excellent and probably underused piece of kit that comes with your Thermomix. And I think, Michelle, I'll just probably, are you ready, or do you need to?
I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay, I'll pass back over to Michelle and I'll stop talking rubbish.
Thank you. So that's my Moroccan soup has just finished. So I'm just going to press that. Just going to turn that off. It smells absolutely amazing. Okay, so I did do a sous vide with 2 more chicken thighs earlier on so that I could show you. So I've just emptied out the water out of my jug. So I didn't show you the putting in of the bag, but it basically just goes into that water on top of the blade cover. Put your lid on, and it cooks for an hour for this particular dish. There's other ones that cook a lot longer. So I've actually done a small roast beef in there, which took about, four hours. And then I finished it off on the pan, and it was, yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so I'm just going to get a clean tongs. So so for the sauce bit of this, I'm just going to show you. So this is my cooked chicken. So they're quite pale and insipid looking. So depending on the sort of dish you're doing, if it's going to be covered in a whole load of sauce, then it probably doesn't matter. This one, we've left the skin on it, which I'm going to pat dry, and I'm actually going to brown. Okay, does that start going? So we're bedtime in our house, so yeah, so I've got two kitties going to bed at the moment. So these chicken breasts, they're cooked, but I want to get a lovely color on the skin, so I'm going to finish them off in the pan. But I'm just going to add my so I've got the juices from the chicken that have come out of there. I'm going to add those into my jug. Now, with these particular bags, you can only use them for sous vide once, and then they've got to be thrown away. These bags, if you're using them to freeze food or to just keep food, for longer in your fridge, you can actually reuse them quite a lot. But this particular one needs to go in the bin, I think, because it's been exposed to temperature, etc., etc. So okay, so we've got then we've got our reserved marinade is going in there. I'm going to just pour in my reserved marinade. And then I've got a little bit of cornstarch going in there. So I've got a 1.5 teaspoons of cornstarch. So that's just going to thicken it up. If you can't have corn for whatever reason, you could use some arrowroot as well. Works quite well too. And that's it. And then I'm just going to put my lid on there. A simmering basket instead of measuring cup on mixing bowl lid. Oh yeah. There we go. Just transfer that across. Next. And that's going to cook for 8 minutes at 100 degrees at 2.5. Okay, and then with these chicken breasts, where's I got mine? So basically, all I'm going to do with my my chicken thighs is I'm going to pat them dry, and then I'm going to put them onto I'm going to put them on a pan. So pat the cooked chicken thighs dry with paper towel, set aside. And then heat a non-stick pan to medium heat. So I've actually got a cast iron pan over there that's been heating for the last few minutes. Let's turn that up slightly. And I'm going to put those onto the pan just to give them some color. And then I'll check that the chicken is properly cooked. and that sauce then is going to go in on top of my chicken. It'll deglaze the pan, and it'll coat the chicken beautifully. So it's an absolutely gorgeous dish. So a couple more steps than maybe some dishes that we would normally do in the Thermomix, but I just wanted to show you a little bit more about a technical dish, I suppose. So I'm just going to put that to one side for the moment, and I'm going to just stop that and transfer it. So give me 1 second. So I'm just going to set up for my next dish, which is some apple muffins. Laura, is there anything you need to do while I'm doing that?
So there is. I can chat for a minute whilst you're getting yourself ready. I have, whilst Michelle was talking, this is a really good time actually to say that this month's offer with the Thermomix Friend, which you get a mixing bowl with as well. So it's a Thermomix Friend Complete. So the mixing bowl is this. This is the thing that comes with the Thermomix. It looks like a jug. We call it the mixing bowl. The value of having an extra mixing bowl is, I can't describe it, because I can tell you now I could do with an extra 2 mixing bowls, because I'm sort of juggling things around. So I've tipped my smoky pork and beans it has not yet been slow cooked, this one. I've tipped it into a dish, and I've tipped back into my mixing bowl the one that I made last night, which is in here. They look almost the same. This one just looks like it's had a lovely 2-hour slow cook. And actually, the overnight in the fridge will help the flavors really come out. So that's actually a really good thing to do when you're doing any kind of stew or casserole. The longer you can leave it, the better it will be. So I'm now at a stage where it's had its 2 hours slow cook. I can just skip past that, and I'm going to be adding 480 grams of tinned mixed beans. So 2 tins of mixed beans. There weren't any mixed beans in the shop when I went, but I'm going to make my own. So I'm putting in red kidney and butter beans. They are drained already. Drain them and rinse them, and I'm just going to pop them in. And then I place the simmering basket back on top. And this is going to have another 30 minutes using the slow cook function again. So beans, kidney beans are fine, but butter beans are quite delicate, and if you cook them too much, they will sort of disintegrate and disappear into your dish, that's all right, but we want to keep them whole in this. So just a half hour on slow cook, and they will be good to go. That will be our dinner for this evening. I've got a few potatoes roasting in the oven, and I'll fish out from somewhere in a second when we're finished doing this. Michelle, are you ready to roll?
Yeah, I'm ready to rock. Hello. Excellent. Right, I told you it would be action-packed. We're fitting a lot in here tonight. Okay, so my Moroccan soup is done. My pan is heating so that I can finish off my chicken. I've got my sauce thickening at the moment for my teriyaki, and now I'm going to show you some muffins. So I love making muffins in the Thermomix. You know, it's so quick, and you know, even like if you wake up in the morning and you've got no snacks for school, you can have some muffins done in like 25 minutes. You know, it's 20 minutes even. So yeah, I love to show how easy it is to do a batter for a cake or muffins. And of course, we're autumn, so we're using apples. I'm using Granny Smiths. You could use, if you've got cookers, you could use those. You might want to adjust the sweetness a little bit, but because you're cooking them, you're gonna get them lovely and soft. Okay, so I'm preheating my oven to 180 degrees, and then I've got some little muffin cases in my tray here, ready to go. I've got a lovely rainbow of muffin cases in there, ready to go. And right, what do I do? So I add in. I follow the instructions and do exactly what the Thermomix tells me to do. So I'm going to do some apples. Now, it says cored and peeled. I have to say, I peel very few things. So, and I did try these earlier, and they're not these particular apples. The skin on them wasn't too thick, so I'm not going to bother peeling them. If you would prefer them, or if you've got somebody that might be a little bit fussy about seeing some green or getting, you know, a little bit of skin in there, then you might want to leave that out. But yeah, this is fine with as it is. So I'm going to just for that. I've got it into pieces. I'm going to chop up my apples. But yeah, in Jersey, we have loads of apples around at the moment. So I know some of you, I can see on there, some of you that have apple trees in your gardens. And there's heaps of things you can do with apples. You know, if you ever have a glut of something like apples or butternut squash or cauliflower or whatever it is, type it into cookie dough and see what the suggestions are. So so I'll often type in something. Oh, now I need a lid. Hang on. Where is my lid gone? There it is, hiding. Okay. Yeah, I'll often type something into cookie dough like an ingredient, and then I'll use the filters to look for something maybe that's ready in half an hour, or maybe has another specific ingredient in there. Or, you know, I might use a search term like gluten-free, for example, or, you know, low sugar or fat-free or something like that. And then you can have a look and see what sort of suggestions it's given you. It's quite a fun way to find new recipes to do, particularly if you're in the supermarket and you see something that's on special. I love doing that, getting my cookie dough app up in front of me and typing in, you know, whatever it is, salmon or, you know, a particular vegetable or fruit, and then finding something yummy to do with that. Okay, so that's my 3 seconds there. So I'm going to transfer that into a bowl and set it to one side. There we go. And then I've got my butter going in there. Just tar that, get it back down. If you're feeling unsure about your cookie dough, or you haven't been using it very much and you need some help, please do let us know, because you know that's our job, is to help you. So as consultants, when you buy your Thermomix through an advisor, the idea is that they're there to support you. So, you know, get in contact, let them know what you need. For my clients, I've got a little WhatsApp group, which is quite nice, you know, so we can ask each other questions, and if somebody's stuck on something, they can ask something. But yeah, do make sure that you're utilizing your advisor, because they love to help, you know, and obviously we love to come out and do visits as well. So I know we always offer to do a welcome visit when you buy your Thermomix. Please do take us up on that. It's well worth it. It's a really good way to get to know, you know, how your Thermomix works. Obviously, this is not professional television. We've got children and families and all sorts going on in the background. And that's it. You know, most of us that do Thermomix as a job, you know, we do it as, you know, as well as a full-time job, or as well as managing a family, or, you know, I've got a couple of people in my team that are retired that like to do it because they love their Thermomix, and it's a nice thing to be involved in. If you think you would like to join the team and become a Thermomix advisor, we are recruiting. So if you're interested, please do come and chat to either me or to one of the other team leaders or your advisor, and they'll tell you. Oh my God, I'm so organized. I've already cracked my egg. Okay, so I've just melted my butter. I did my apple already. I'm adding in my egg. I need 90 grams of full cream milk. Yeah, and it's such a great deal. When you join as an advisor, you've got the option, even if you already have a Thermomix, you've got the option to earn a brand new TM6. And you've got 3 months to do that. You've got 90 days to earn a brand new TM6. So if you don't have a TM6, it's a brilliant way to get one. If you do have a TM6, it's a great way to get a second one. And then there's commission, and there's all sorts of incentives, like the Sous-vide pack that I just showed you. You know, every month there's something different. Okay, I've added in my milk. I've got my egg in there. I've got my melted butter. I'm now going to add in 250 grams of self-raising flour. In that goes. Should have done that a bit more gently. I've got a tablespoon of honey. I'm just going to eyeball that. There we go. I've got some ground cinnamon. A teaspoon of ground cinnamon has gone in there. And then I've got 100 grams of sugar. So I've got some brown sugar going in there. These are not overly sweet. So yeah, I mean, you can adjust it. I did taste a little bit of the one that I did earlier, and they were delicious. Try not to taste too much. Get them out of my way. Okay, so I've got my, everything in there. Press next. And then up to we're putting that chicken on to brown up. Okay, so that's it. That's the batter done for, oh no, I have to add my apples, hang on. Scrape down the sides of the bowl, and then I'm going to pop my apple in there. Yeah, and as I said, if you've got somebody that's a little bit picky, then you can chop up that apple a little bit finer. You can take the peel off if you prefer to. But yeah, with most vegetables and fruits that I cook with in the Thermomix, I tend not to peel, most things, unless it's going to desperately affect the texture or the look of, what I'm trying to do. There we go. Just giving that a quick whiz on number 4. Beautiful. Okay, and that's it. And that's I can show you that's the batter for my muffins. So you can see how quick it is to do. I mean, you can literally do that within, 4 or 5 minutes. And then you just need to pop them into your little cases, which are here. So I just spoon those in. So that mixture makes 12 cupcakes. And then goes into the oven at 180 degrees. Oh, and then the other thing that you can do is just chop an apple kind of that way, so kind of horizontally for little slices, and pop them on top. And what you get is, here's what I made earlier, some beautiful little muffins that look like that with little apples on top. So super, super cute. Right, we're coming towards the end. I've got a couple more things that I just want to show you. Laura, can I just pass over to you for a moment while I just organize myself here?
Yeah, sorry, trying to unmute myself there. So I have one more recipe to very quickly, I'm going to talk through it with everybody rather than show it, because like I said before, I've run out of Thermomix mixing bowls, actually, and everything's cooking. So what I am going to do, I've got 12 seconds left on my steam pudding. I'm going to use one of these lovely stainless steel Thermomix serving bowls that you can get on the website, and I'm going to place it just on top of my mixing bowl and weigh in the ingredients to make porridge for the morning. So this is a spiced carrot porridge. So one of the things, you can do it the night before, you can weigh it into your mixing bowl, and you can leave it with the milk overnight. It makes like overnight oats, so your oats will have softened, and your other ingredients as well. Or you can just weigh all the dry ingredients, and then it's ready for in the morning. If you just pop on your Thermomix, press go, you can go and have a shower or get the children up or whatever it is you need to do, and you've got a really, really nice, a really, really lovely porridge ready. Not just basic porridge, there are lots of other recipes on Cookie Do, but this one is like the sort of, the spice thing goes with autumn. It's lovely. We're getting into that kind of season, like Michelle said, and we're kind of craving those lovely warming feelings. So one of the little beginning of this recipe is to make this lovely topping, which is creme fraiche, Greek yogurt, and just the zest of a lemon, and it whips it together to make this sort of lovely yogurty drizzle that goes over the top, which I'm not going to make that part of it. I'm just going to make the porridge, which I'm not even going to do now because I know Michelle wants to show you something else. But the ingredients are just nuts. So it says walnuts. I'm going to use hazelnuts, carrots, raw carrots, oats, full cream milk, but you can put whatever milk of your choosing in, some maple syrup for sweetness, vanilla bean paste or vanilla extract if you like, raisins, sultanas, whatever kind of dried fruit you would like, and then it's ground cinnamon and ground nutmeg and a little bit of salt to taste. And that's all going to go in my bowl. It's going to go in the fridge. In the morning, I'm going to tip it all into my mixing bowl and press go whilst I go and have a shower. So, Michelle, if you're ready, I can go back over to you. And whilst you're doing whatever you're going to do, I'm going to tip out my steamed pudding. And she's just getting some utensils. I can see her.
Unmute myself. Fabulous, thank you. So yeah, so just while you were doing that, I was just finishing off my chicken on the pan, and I just poured in that teriyaki sauce. Let's see if I can do this so I can just show you the consistency of it. So that's the teriyaki chicken. So I just popped it onto just a medium hot pan. So I dried off the skin first of all, and then just put that down. I didn't bother with it. It didn't need any oil. And then I just poured in the sauce, and that kind of bubbles up around it, and it thickens even a little bit more. And so that's that teriyaki chicken, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Let me just see if I can open it up. Oh, it might be difficult. Okay, trust me on it. I'll check it in a couple of minutes and just make sure that it's fully cooked. But yeah, so that's the teriyaki chicken, and you can just pop some toasted sesames on there, a little bit of chili, some spring onion, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And serve it with some steamed vegetables from the Verona or some rice. So I actually did rice for the kids earlier, so that was that. And then I was just going to show you my my Moroccan chicken, or sorry, my Moroccan soup. Yeah, that's absolutely gorgeous. It smells so wonderful. So there we go. So that's that. Oh, very hard to show you. I'll take some pictures afterwards. Okay, so that is that. Now, there's one other dish that I wanted to talk to you about. We've just come to 8 o'clock, so I'm just going to show you and tell you about it, and then encourage you to give it a go. So a client of mine said it to me recently that I needed to try this dish. She said it was so authentic and so delicious. So I thought it fitted in really nicely with our theme, just because it's something that you can prepare in the Thermomix, and then you put it into a great big casserole and into the oven, and it's so warming and delicious and beautiful. So it's called baboti. So it's a South African dish, and it's basically, you use minced beef, and it's got all sorts of curry spices in there. It's got dried herbs. It's got a little bit of mango chutney in there. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it's really quick to prepare. And the other thing is that, so this used 800 grams of ground beef. So I made this pot, and then I made little ramekins for my kids. So I did the base of it, which is this mince kind of concoction, and then on the top it's an egg and some milk that's blended up together and poured on top, and then that goes into the oven. And I'm just going to show you what that looks like. So I did some little mini ones for the kids, just because I thought they were super cute and they needed to eat their dinner. So that's what I did for them. So yeah, so it's almost like a little omelette kind of on top. So an egg and some milk, and that kind of sits on the top, goes into an oven. It doesn't take very long actually, because the mince is mostly cooked, and then it just becomes all golden and delicious, and it's all bubbly when it comes out of the oven. And it doesn't have any cheese on there or anything. That's just an egg and milk mixture on there. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous. So I definitely recommend that you give that a go if you're looking for just a lovely hearty kind of family dinner that's really filling and nutrient dense. You could put some organ meat through there as well if you're brave. So that was that one. And then a couple of other dishes that I just wanted to mention that I've mentioned on my page over the last couple of days. Lala's creamy lemon butter chicken. I did that 2 nights ago and it is sensational. I'm going to put all of these recipes together onto a PDF. So if you'd like one of those, yeah, I'll send that out so that you've got some nice ideas for some warming breakfasts, snacks, lunches and dinners. And I think that's it. So Moroccan chicken, we've got my my lovely apple muffins, the babotti, which I didn't get to show you how to make it, but really straightforward. And of course the teriyaki chicken, wherever I put that. Somewhere. Here. There it is there. So yeah. Laura, is there anything that you need to finish up? And she unmutes herself.
Thank you. I've got wet fingers. I couldn't click the button. So I just want to show you my steamed pudding. I have 11 minutes left on my slow cooked pork and beans, which we're going to have for dinner tonight. So that's it, just flipping away. But I'm going to show you steamed pudding. I haven't turned it out because we're just going to eat dinner and we probably won't be eating this for a while. So I want it to stay warm. So I'm just going to leave it in the dish, covered in the lid and covered in the Veroma lid as well. But here is my beautiful steamed pudding. And it's a lovely spongy texture. I can see it's going to come out lovely. And underneath, before I put the batter in, it was I put 2 tablespoons of the golden syrup as well. So when I turn it out, that's going to sort of drip all the way down it. And I'll treat everyone at home and I'll make the lovely caramel sauce that goes with it quickly as well this evening. So
Laura, will you take a picture of that and put it onto your page?
Yes, absolutely, I will.
Yeah. Because it's lovely to see how they turn out, you know, especially when maybe even take a little video of you turning it out so that we can see it all dripping down the side and tempt all of us. So yeah, thank you so much, Laura, for all of your tips and insights. I hope you guys have found this interesting this evening. As I said, you know, please do get in touch if we can help you with anything at all. And if you know of anybody who's in the market for a TM6, please put them in touch with one of us. If you'd like to host a demonstration, it's a great way to get re-inspired, actually. So definitely keep that in mind. If you'd like to join our team, we'd love to chat with you. And now, if anybody wants to unmute themselves and chat, or Eunice, if there's anything that you've seen in the chat box that we need to answer.
No, there was no
needs to go.
question. There was only I've been putting the links to everything you guys cooked on the chat box. So if people were trying to follow, maybe just scroll up. The Lala's creamy lemon butter chicken is there, and the botti is there as well. Yeah, I think it's all good.
Fabulous. Yeah, so I'll put together a little handout with these recipes, just to give you a little bit of inspiration, and maybe if you try them, we always love to hear about it if you try them. So if you're one of my clients, put it into our WhatsApp group, or yeah, send it to your consultant and say, look what I've cooked. And definitely on our Facebook pages as well. So Laura is Love to Mix with Laura. I'm Michelle's Family Kitchen. So yeah, we'd love to connect with you on there as well if you are a Facebooker or Instagrammer. But otherwise, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another class. You might want to subscribe to our Eventbrite, and then you'll get a notification of any new class that we add onto there. But yeah, the next class is in 2 weeks. We aim to do these every 2 weeks. So that you can, yeah, from the comfort of your own homes, you can get an hour of inspiration and ideas. It'll be one of the other team leaders running it next time. But yeah, in the meantime, have a wonderful evening, have a wonderful autumn, and we'll see you soon.